What is up, everybody? Hope you guys have been doing well. It's been a crazy week. In this video, I'm going to be sharing 5 things that you should know about this recent crash. I know that for many of you, this might have been your first major correction, major pullback. And so in this video, I want to kind of give you guys some perspective on where we're at in the market and why we shouldn't be too worried yet. The first thing I want to share is that pullbacks like this in the cryptocurrency space is very normal and common. On top of that, ever since the beginning of 2021, the entire cryptocurrency market has gone up way too high, way too fast. We are way ahead of schedule. So a pullback like this is actually a nice little breather in my personal opinion, but I know that if you got in at the top, it's extremely scary. You know, people could argue that it was Elon Musk's fault, it was China banning Bitcoin's fault. On top of that, there are rumors or theories that a group of people decided to dump and sell their Bitcoin so they can liquidate a certain person at a certain position. Although market manipulation does happen, there are some times where, you know, an asset or the market needs to correct, needs to cool down, needs to breathe and consolidate for a while so that we can continue higher. Bitcoin's previous all-time high was around 65,000, and we did correct all the way down to the 29,000-30,000 level, which is about a 55% correction. People may call this a bear market or the beginning of a bear market, but I don't think it is, and I'll explain that in point number 5. But in the past, Bitcoin has, you know, corrected 70, 80, 90% and still continue to go higher over the years and the months and over time. But even if the market were to go even lower, personally, I don't mind. You know, if I had to ask you, would you rather buy Bitcoin at $65,000 or at $30,000? The answer is pretty easy, right? During the dips, I know it can be extremely painful, and I hope nobody sold at $29,000 or $30,000. The best time to sell is usually, you know, when it rebounds or when it's at the top, when everyone's talking about how great the market is. Second thing you need to know is that the recent crash did not happen because there was an error or problem within Bitcoin, right? If Bitcoin's fundamentals changed and that was the reason for the dip, that's when I would be concerned and afraid. But, you know, you look at the entire cryptocurrency space within the past week, nothing fundamentally has changed. Only the price has, and only people have. You know, there is a reason why there is a crypto fear and greed index, right? It really indicates how greedy people can get. It can indicate how extremely fearful people can get. And this recent dip is evidence of how greedy people are and fearful people are, right? I think a lot of people got into Bitcoin or, you know, cryptocurrency in general because they thought they can put a certain amount in, they can get a certain amount out, they can get rich quickly, right? But when the price starts to dip, what happens? They panic because fear kicks in. So they start selling, and it creates a cascading effect of people selling, and the entire market dumping. This event we call the market capitulating, meaning it really just gave out on itself. According to Kathy Wood from ARK Invest, she said that these moments are the best time to pick up more Bitcoin.
No matter what the asset is, a capitulation phase is buy, it's on sale.
99 Bitcoin also reported that Bitcoin has been called dead 414 times within the past 11 years. But guess what? Bitcoin continues to go higher without Tesla or with Tesla, with a certain country or without a certain country. Bitcoin's price will continue to go higher because the fundamentals of Bitcoin has not changed. Number 3, buy the dip and dollar cost average. I know we hear this all the time, but this has proven to be the best strategy of all times, and I'm gonna explain why. Say you bought 1 Bitcoin at 60K, and all of a sudden the next day the price dips all the way down to 30K, just like we experienced recently. In that moment, you feel sick, you're afraid, you're scared, but you decide not to panic sell and hold on to your investment. The market rebounds to around the 40K level, and now your investment is down only about 30%. But say that you saw this dip as an opportunity and you decided to buy 1 more Bitcoin when it dropped down to 30K. Now you own 2 Bitcoin at an average cost of $45,000. That is only $5,000 away from the current Bitcoin price, which only really puts you at a 10% loss versus a 30% loss. If you decided to get greedy when everyone else was fearful and decided to buy 2 Bitcoins when it dropped down to 30K, well then now you own 3 Bitcoin at an average cost of $40,000, which puts you in profit at the current Bitcoin price. And from there, you can make a decision whether to exit the market because you can't handle the volatility, or decide to hold your investment and continue to buy the dips and dollar cost average in. Of course, not everyone can just buy 1 whole Bitcoin, but the concept and strategy still remains true. And so personally for myself, instead of panicking, I bought the dip, and I'm so glad that I did. I also hold a portion of my cryptocurrency on BlockFi, where I can be earning passive income, passive interest, so that when the market is going down, there's a part of my mind where I'm at ease because I know that I'm still earning even when the market is dipping. If you guys are interested in checking out BlockFi, I did create a couple videos on them. I'll leave the link down below, or you can click up here. You can get up to a $250 bonus when you use my link. Definitely check it out. It's definitely worth it in my personal opinion. Of course, do your own research and due diligence before you decide to go with any type of services or any type of brokerage. The fourth thing that you should know is that you should be learning about yourself during these dips. When it comes to investing and especially trading, if you trade, you really learn more about yourself, and you really have to consider this moment as a test and self-reflection. For a lot of you guys, this might have been your first experience of a major pullback because a lot of people accumulated around the $50,000 range, and to see your investment go down almost 50%, it hurts, right? Because you saw your account, at its peak, and all of a sudden you see it cut down in half. I remember this very clearly because I was awake during this time. I think it was like 6 or 7 a.m. I was checking the markets and I was like, what is happening? This dip is insane. But this market does a really good job of filtering those who are in it for the short term and for the long run. Bitcoin needs a strong foundation of people who understand what they are investing into, and that way it can have a brighter future versus someone who, puts their savings in or the money in to think about short-term gains. So I hope that most of you guys are in it for the long run, because for those that continue to buy and hold and understand what they're investing in are the ones that make the most money out of their investments in the future. I understand this way too well because back in 2017, when I first got into this market, I lost around $10,000, and I remember feeling miserable and hating the market. I thought I could outsmart the market. I thought I could be smart, but I experienced these dips just like you guys. I panic sold just like you guys, and instead of me blaming the market and saying it's your fault that I lost $10,000, I decided to take responsibility, learn more about this market, educate myself so that I understand what I'm investing into and what I got myself into. And I'm so glad that I did that because I made that $10,000 back and a lot more, and it's just because I decided not to hate on the thing that made me learn more about myself. And the last thing I want to share is my favorite chart of all, which is the Bitcoin stock to flow model. I did create a whole video on this. If you guys want to check it out, I'll leave the links up here. For me, I use the stock to flow model as my investing strategy. Of course, it is not financial advice. And there's a stock to flow model with gold, with silver, and other precious metals and other assets. And it really determines the value of that investment. There will only be 21 million Bitcoins ever created, right? There's already 18 million circulating. So that's the stock. And there will be 3 million more that will be mined in the later years, which is the flow. The creator of stock to flow model, who is Plan B, saw the characteristics of Bitcoin, plugged all the numbers in, and said that this is where the Bitcoin price should be as long as there is demand for Bitcoin. As long as people buy it up, as long as it's being adopted, the Bitcoin price will continue to go higher because it is a deflationary asset and you cannot create more Bitcoin in the future. So from a fundamental perspective, Bitcoin really is a one of a kind. I know there's a lot of people who will use technical analysis and say this is where the price is going to go, this is how low it can go. It can cause a lot of fear and a lot of greed at the same time. But when you just look at the possible opportunity that Bitcoin can give to the entire world and to even yourself, sometimes it's nice to step back, look at the bigger picture and where we're at the market and where we can be in the future. When you look back at the charts, a lot of people will say, I wish I was able to buy Bitcoin at $100, at $1,000, at the March lows when it dipped all the way down to $4,000. But when you're in those moments, it's really hard to buy. So with this recent dip that we had, my question is, are you still afraid to buy? Because later, maybe 5 years from now, when Bitcoin is at 6 figures, you're gonna wish, we're all gonna wish that we accumulated more Bitcoin when it was at the 40K level. Could Bitcoin go lower? Maybe. I don't know the future. I don't know what's gonna happen. But what I do know is that being able to accumulate Bitcoin at these levels is sort of like accumulating Bitcoin at the 2023-2024 bear market. So to me, this is a gift. This is an opportunity where you can buy at low levels in the future. Well, with that said, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it gave you guys some perspective on where we're at the market and kind of how I'm feeling. If you felt, scared and fearful, I hope that this video kind of eased that. Think of this as a long-term investment. There is no such thing as a get-rich-quick investment. And don't invest everything you have. Make sure that you always have some cash on hand and invest as much as you're willing to lose, because inherently all investments are risky. Bitcoin is just volatile, but just because it's volatile doesn't mean that it's risky. Please share this video with anyone that needs to hear everything that I just shared. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, hit that bell notification. I'm gonna slowly start uploading more and kind of have a exit strategy series, and so hopefully you guys are looking forward to that. I'm excited to share all that as well, and so I'll see you guys in future videos. In the next video over, good night, good morning, adios.